Now, what is gross domestic product? Listen to me very carefully. The total final value of all goods and services produced within the country in a given time period or period of time. You know Priyanka Chopra? All of you? Right. She works in an American TV serial known as Quantico, and she was paid 50 billion. I know it. Let us assume she was paid $50 billion for it. Right. Shall I include that in the GDP of India? Why? Because she is being paid for a service, but that service is being produced outside the country. Outside the country, right? You know, Tata's, they have acquired Jaguar Land Rover. In the UK, they are producing 10,000 cars per year and they are making money. Shall I include the money made by Tata, Jaguar, Land Rover, what they make in the UK? No. No? Clearly no? All of you? No or yes? How many of you think it's yes? Yes? Shall I repeat the question? The Tatas, they have acquired a company, Jaguar Land Rover. Land Rover, right? Now they are in the process of acquiring Jaguar also. Land Rover they have acquired. And in the plant based in the United Kingdom, they manufacture cars. And one car is being sold at rupees 1 lakh, let us suppose, pound sterling. And they make a certain amount every year. Shall I include that amount in the GDP of India? How many of you are yes? No. Why? Because the good is not being produced within the country. That good has to be produced within the country. They are producing something but outside the borders of the country. Right. ONGC, all of you have heard of the company. ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited. They have a wing which is known as ONGC Videsh. They have a wing which is known as ONGC Videsh, and this ONGC Videsh collaborates with different other countries and help them in exploration of oil, crude oil. So ONGC Videsh is helping Oman in exploring oil. And in exchange of that service, ONGC Videsh gets some money, service charges. Shall I include that in the GDP of India? Can you find anywhere written in the definition that money has to come? Priyanka Chopra, she sends the money to her mother sitting in Jamshedpur. So you didn't include it, Priyanka Chopra. Why are you including ONGC Videsh? Country is not providing. An entity, a public sector enterprise named ONGC Videsh is providing a service. Right? Country is not providing. That entity provides a service, and in exchange of that service, that entity gets some money. The service is being produced within the country or outside the country? Outside the country. And that is why that money will also not be included in the GDP of the country. Are you understanding this? Atif Aslam comes to India. Know him? Fawad Khan comes to India. You know Fawad Khan? Adnan Sami comes to India. Jacqueline Fernandez, don't say you don't know her, comes to India to work in Bollywood movies, right? And she gets paid something for working in Bollywood movies. Will that money be included in the GDP of India? Yes or no? Yes, because the service is being produced in India. Entertainment service produced in India. Are you understanding this? So, what is GDP? It is the total final value of all the goods and services within the country. Very important. Within the country is very important. Within the country. That makes GDP a geographical concept. Yes, because imports, when you import, the exchange of goods and services happens within the boundary. If in import, you are importing something from a certain country, but the exchange happens at the boundary, within the boundary. And that is why we include that into the GDP. We include that into the GDP. When we exchange, then only we pay for it. Right? Let us suppose Germany is manufacturing a car. You do not pay, they are manufacturing a Volkswagen. Right? When the car comes to you, then you pay for it. That means for you, the exchange happens within the boundary. Are you understanding? And in that is one case of, that is not also one case of import, because import is actually subtracted from exports. When you see the formula, it is actually subtracted. So it is net exports that you consider. So here also it is not typical import. Please understand this. The formula that I wrote had imports, but that was extracted out from that formula. You will find this formula. So whatever you are exporting and whatever you are importing, import is being subtracted, and that gives you the GDP. So here also there is exchange of, this is not a classic import. So you cannot say that import are included in GDP. Imports are excluded, that is there in the formula very clearly. Minus. And that is why you will also see that in place of exports minus imports, a lot of books write net exports. Net exports. That means the total exports minus the total imports. Right? Also, please, because here there is also one confusion. Let us suppose I am earning in a Gulf country and I am sending back money at my home. Will I include that in the GDP? No. No, because I am sending it as a remittance, that is not GDP. I am not creating any goods or services in it. I am just sending to my family. So remittances are not included in GDP. Please understand this also. Right? Imports are not included, remittances are not included. So what we can conclude is, we can conclude that GDP is a geographical concept. That means it is associated with the geography of India. Geography means that if anything happens within the boundaries, we will include that. If that particular activity is not happening within the boundaries of the country, we are not going to include that. Are you understanding? So nationality does not matter, citizenship does not matter. The only thing that matters here is whether it is occurring within the boundaries or not. The only litmus test, the only test that you have to perform is whether that activity is happening within the boundary of the country or not. Full stop. See a question. A question. Let us suppose there is a US based company, US based or German based company, German manufacturers, popular car manufacturers, German car manufacturing company, German car manufacturing company, but they have set up the manufacturing plant in Singapore for many reasons. We will understand why. They have set up their car manufacturing unit in Singapore. So, in Singapore, the cars are being manufactured, right? And they are making 100 American dollars out of one car. Who will include this 100 American dollar in their GDP? All of you are clear with this? Very honestly? Because I can repeat it, but if this is missed by you, then things can become scary in economy. All of you are understanding this. No matter who is owning the company, you have to see whether the activity is happening. A German owned manufacturing car, but because the manufacturing unit is in Singapore, the GDP to which it will add to is the Singaporean GDP, not the German GDP. Are you understanding this? Parallelly, we will learn one more concept that is known as GNP, and that will make things all the more clearer to you. This is gross national product. Gross national product. Airline services, let us suppose you are flying from here to Qatar, right? You took a flight from Doha to Mumbai, or Mumbai to Doha. When the flight was taking off, all the passengers, they paid here because they bought a service here. So whatever money they paid here will be added to the GDP of India. Are you understanding? Then they went there. All the passengers, they paid in their own currency and paid here. So that will add to the GDP of Qatar, not India. GNP, right? The total final value of all the goods and services produced by the nationals of a country. The total final value of all the goods and services produced by the nationals of a country, whether inside or outside their own country. Now, all the examples that we have taken up till now. Priyanka Chopra earning in an American TV serial. Will that add to the GNP of India or not? Yes. Jacqueline Fernandez working in Indian Hindi movies or Tamil movies. Will that add to the GNP of India? Which country will gain in GNP? Sri Lanka. Tata's, they are manufacturing cars in United Kingdom. Will that add to the GNP of India? Yes. Are you understanding? Coming to this example, this adds to the GDP of Singapore, but which country will grow in GNP? Germany. Understand? Are you understanding this? All of you? Okay. One more example. Let us suppose that there is a country. Let us suppose there is a country which is, those very attractive destinations for people to come and invest their money. Tax free, tax havens they are known as, right? There are many such countries which are tax havens. Small little Mauritius, Singapore, all these countries. What is tax haven? Where the tax is almost nil, right? So tell me, let us suppose I take the example of a tax haven country where the taxes are very low. That means it is a attractive destination for a lot of companies to come. What will be the dynamics between the GNP and GDP of that country? The GNP and GDP of the country. What will be the dynamics of the GDP and GNP of that country? You have to choose between these three signs. Which is greater? All of you, listen to the question. A small country which is an attractive destination for a lot of companies to come. Let us suppose I take the example of Singapore, like I took. Singapore is a tax haven. So a lot of companies try to open their manufacturing hubs, corporate offices in Singapore, right? So if I take the example of Singapore, what will be the relationship between the GDP of Singapore and GNP of Singapore? Which is larger? Where are you going? Taxes are not important here. Just tell me, their GDP will be higher. GDP will be higher because the activity is taking place within their geographies. Please, a lot of companies are coming into their country. This is Singapore. Please, Singapore, lot of companies are coming. So the activities are taking place in the geographical boundaries of Singapore. That boosts the GDP of Singapore. So the GDP is greater, the GNP is smaller. Are you understanding? All of you? There was someone who said equal to. Don't think about, please keep it as simple as possible. You're losing track. Keep it as simple as, don't think, the thoughts should be as decluttered as possible. When we are discussing the GDP and GNP, the only litmus test that you have to apply, whether geographical boundaries, GDP, whether nationality, GNP. Full stop. Don't think in a very cluttered manner, right? I'll ask you a question here. Just after I complete this thing, I'll ask you a question. All of you, not you only. GNP, GDP. To stop the? No. Why would they stop? Any organization to stop the? No, no, no. Why would they stop? Why would they stop? Huh? No, no, no. It's a noble thought that you have. Please, in the very first class, I am telling you one more thing. Economics does not know morality, right? Economics and morality are mutually exclusive events. Have you studied probability? They are mutually exclusive. Morality, climate change, economics does not know that. Economics have two people, two sets of people. One are producers, the other one are consumers. Producers have only one dharma. The dharma is to maximize their profits. Please understand this. I'm talking in terms of economy. In economy, no morality. In economy, two sets of people. Producers, their dharma, maximize profit. Consumers, their dharma, maximize utility. Full stop. Right? What will happen to the coral reefs there? What will happen to the turtles there? What will happen to the climate there? If that triggers an earthquake, will that also trigger a tsunami? Not our concern in economy. Right? Understood? GNP, GDP. There can also be countries which are very developed, geographically small, like the country of Japan, heavily developed and running a lot of MNCs, right? A lot of Japanese MNCs are there all across the world. They're not operating in Japan because the size of the country is very small. Also, some other factors, geographical factors. So they tend to operate outside Japan. So let us suppose we have a country like Japan where a lot of companies are coming from that country who are nationals of that country but are operating outside that country. Have you understood what I am saying? A lot of Japanese companies, but they are not operating in Japan, they are operating outside Japan. What will happen to the dynamics of GNP and GDP? Which will be greater? GNP, all of you? GNP is greater because it is not happening within the boundaries, it is happening outside. Nationals are going out and they are doing their work. India pre 1991. India pre 1991, where you were not allowing people to come in, you were also not allowed to go out. I mean, Indian companies were not allowed to go out. They had to seek a lot of licenses, quotas, and all. The foreign companies, they were not allowed to come in. as foreign direct investment or portfolio investors or anything. So a closed economy like the one we were before 1991, these kind of closed economies, tell me the relationship between GNP and GDP. Approximately. Approximately. No one comes in, no one goes out. No Jacqueline coming in, no Priyanka going out, right? A closed economy. So whatever is produced within the boundaries and by their own people. So GNP, GDP, one and the same thing. Are you understanding this? Have you understood GDP and GNP very clearly? Be very honest. Scratch your heart and ask yourself. Honestly, very important to understand. Right? Now there are many other discussions coming up related to green GDP, green economy, right? But they are again, till now, they are beyond the scope of economics. Beyond the scope of economics, right? Here I'll discuss three things. In fact, five things. Have you noted down the definition of GDP, GNP? Then we took four examples where I spoke about the first thing, that was a German company working in Singapore. The second one was this example, Japanese example. The example of a closed economy like Indian economy before 1991. This. Understood? See, to understand that, we have to have some discussion. Tell me, what do you think is better, to have a bigger GDP or a bigger GNP? Think and tell me. Don't rush to the answer. Think and tell. What do you think is what, you being the prime minister, what will you like? You will like a better GDP or a better GNP? GDP. GDP. Why GDP? Because the activity within, if you talk about GDP, all the activities are happening within the boundaries of your own country. When this happens, the first thing, that employment, and revenues, the tax revenues, and technological advancements, and within infra I will include everything. Tech and advancement is within infra only. So let's suppose write infra here. And GDP has nothing to do with attracting investors. It cannot attract investors. US has a lot of the highest GDP. It is not attracting investors. It has no direct relation with attracting investors. What did you say? Welfare, okay, that is included in tax revenues. If tax revenues goes up, then the government can undertake a lot of welfare activities. One important thing that you are missing out, the import duties comes down. If the goods and services are being produced domestically, you do not need to import, right? It's a good thing. Now, when the imports come down, the forex goes up, foreign exchange, because otherwise you spend forex. Now coming to your question. What was your question? Indicate. Better. Actual is a wrong word, wrong choice of word. Which is a better indicator to have? Better will be GDP. Because if you have a better GDP, then these things are the added advantages. I want to discuss 2-3 things right now, and then we will summarize everything. Listen to me very carefully. Don't be in a rush of writing. I'll make you write. Don't worry. The first thing that I want to discuss here is green GDP, because it has become very important now. I'll also tell you about one UPSC mains question. The first thing is green GDP. What is green GDP? Listen to me carefully. The GDP that you obtain by factoring in the environmental losses that is occurring because of this growth. That means that means the GDP if this is the actual GDP minus environmental losses, if you minus the environmental losses, what you get is green GDP. Example, let us suppose you are constructing factories, industries, and that is what is pushing your GDP, right? So this is your country and you are constructing a lot of factories, and these factories are pushing your GDP because you are producing more. But because of these factories, you are having environmental losses. So when you quantify environmental losses, it is not possible to quantify, but if you somehow attach a value to it, let us suppose you have to clear 100 acres of land for an industrial town to set up. So what you do is you attach a value to it. In economy, we call it imputation of value, imputed value, imputed value. You cannot count the value of one tree, please. How will you count? Right? Or the how much air one tree is purifying and what is the cost of it, how will you calculate? So what you do is, when you don't know how to impute a value to it, give a value to it, you give a imputed value. That means a nominal value. I'll give you an example. Your grandmother tells you stories, or used to tell you stories when you were young, right? What value will you give to it? Can you give a quantifiable value to it? No. So what you do is you impute a value to it. Why? Because that service is also available, that is also a paid service. If you want to go to someone to listen to some motivational talk, you have to pay something, but you are getting that for free. So what you do for those kind of services where you are getting it for free, but actually you have to pay for it, you should be paying for it, you impute a value to it. Similarly, you are cutting trees, right? Cutting trees, that must have some value, but how will you calculate the value? You are not able to calculate. So what you do is you impute a value to it. So if, let us suppose, your GDP is 100 rupees, 100 rupees, and you have cut 10 trees, and cost of one tree is 1 rupee. So what is the environment loss? 10 rupees. So what is the green GDP? 90 rupees. Are you understanding? Green GDP is the actual GDP minus environmental losses. Because to attain GDP, you are losing environment. Are you understanding or not? Let us suppose there is a state in the country. You know that GDP, states also have a GDP. Any unit can have a GDP. This classroom can also have a GDP, right? Similarly, a country has a GDP. A state like Telangana state has a GDP, and we call it GSDP, gross state domestic product, right? Similarly, we also have gross district domestic product. Are you understanding? I am asking you a question. Let us suppose a state decides that we will not go industrial, we will not industrialize because we want to preserve our forests. They were supposed to gain 1,000 crore if they would have allowed industries to set up. But they chose not to set up those industries, and they chose those trees rather than those industries. What is the opportunity cost? You're reading this 100. This is 100 or 1,000. What is the opportunity cost for the state? Are you understanding what is opportunity cost? The second best option that you have discarded is known as opportunity cost. I hope you have understood what is opportunity cost. Are you understanding? So, should we compensate the state or not? The state has foregone this just for the sake of the environment. Should the state be compensated or not? Please remember this point and this discussion. We will come back to this 5-7 lectures down the line. You will see how the states who have good forest cover, they are being compensated by the Finance Commission. Finance Commission is a constitutional body, Article 280. So why are they compensated? Because they have an opportunity cost in retaining those forests. If they are retaining those forests, they are actually foregoing some revenue and they deserve some compensation. Are you understanding this? All of you? What is your name? Rashmi. Okay. Have you understood what is green GDP? Green GDP is GDP minus the environmental losses. That means because you are pushing the GDP, you must be incurring some losses on the environmental front. You have to subtract that. Quickly, we will see two more concepts. The other one is potential GDP. Potential GDP. Potential GDP, by the name itself, it means, tell me, what do we say that this is my potential, but I am not able to reach that because of certain factors? You say it, or your teacher tells you, or your parents tells you that you have a huge potential, you are not reaching there. So what is potential GDP? Given all the factors are aligned positively, the GDP can reach to a certain level. That level is known as potential GDP. Are you understanding this? Given all the factors of production are used to its maximum efficiency. Now please understand, I said a word, factors of production. What I said factors of production. I said that given all the factors of production means all the factors which are necessary for production. What is factor of production? Land, labor, and capital, and entrepreneurship. Machinery comes under capital only, right? This is land, right? This is labor. Everything that is helping me to produce a service is under capital only. Are you understanding? So these are the factors of production. What I said, given all the factors of production are working at their maximum efficiency, if all these are working at their, and please, maximum does not mean 100%. Maximum efficiency, the GDP that I will get will be the potential GDP. If all the factors of production are working at their maximum efficiency, I will get a GDP or not, and that GDP will be known as what? Potential GDP. Are you understanding this? All of you? Okay. Given all the factors of production are working at their maximum efficiency, please do not confuse maximum with 100% efficiency, right? Don't confuse it with 100% efficiency. This is maximum efficiency. Maximum does not mean 100%, right? Your maximum efficiency of studying is 8 hours, not 24 by 24 hours. If all these factors are working under maximum efficiency, you will reach a GDP, and that GDP is known as potential GDP. Are you understanding? Tell me one thing. If we aspire to go to the potential GDP, is there a threat on sustainability or not? Because what we will try to do is, we will try to maximize the usage, land maximum usage. The Ministry of Forest has kept a tab that they say that there should be 33% of forest cover in the country. The Indian State of Forest report says that the forest cover has declined to 23% only. Now, if you want to use land to its maximum efficiency, and human beings, they have an instinct to push things. Land, they will try to use the entire land. What you will do is, you will cut all the forest. So please, you have to keep in mind when you are writing an answer on potential GDP, you have to keep in mind that you balance it out with sustainability. You should not be pushing for that limit in such a manner that you are losing on sustainability. Are you understanding? Land 100%, that means you have cut down all the forest. Labor 100%, like you have forcefully kept bonded labor, no labor law, no labor welfare, nothing, right? Capital, you are utilizing everything, air conditioner, light, everything to its full capacity, and you are pushing the limits. So your potential GDP may go up, but that is very dangerous for sustainability. Are you understanding? Write one line there. Overemphasis on potential GDP can be a threat to sustainability. Have you understood green GDP, potential GDP, and over anxious, over anxiety on potential GDP can be a threat to sustainability? It should not be the case that you have to use land to its maximum capability, so you have cut down all the forest just to reach to that potential. No. Are you understanding this?